Happy Canada Day! I'm joining a group of crafty Canadian YouTubers, and we're celebrating this special day by featuring Canadian craft products, shops, and publications who've generously sponsored today's event with over $1,000 in prizes. After you've finished watching my video, please leave a comment for your chance to win, and then click on the link in the description box below for the next person in the hop. The more you comment, the higher your chances of winning. Please indicate if you're in Canada or elsewhere, as a few prizes are restricted to Canadian addresses only. All of the giveaway details are over on Emily's blog, and I'll be sure to leave a link to that blog in the description box below. If you get lost along the way, you can also see a full list of the participants on Emily's blog post as well. Comments close at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, July 15th, 2022, and all winners will be announced on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. I hope you enjoy my video. It's a really long one because I am representing 3 different companies today. Okay, I'll see you in the process. So the first project I'm going to be working on is going to be using this gorgeous stamp and coordinating die set from Scrapbook and Cards today. I love also that Scrapbook and Cards has and sells their own magnetic sheets for your dies, for storing the dies. And I love that so much. You can just see how nicely the dies for the Change the World set fit on that sheet. And I wanted to create something with this stamp set on craft. I love working on craft. Craft paper is so much fun to stamp on and then work with your colored pencils. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Now I'm going to take my Tailored Expressions anti-static powder tool and treat my craft cardstock with that so that when I go to heat emboss, my embossing powder is only going to stick to my embossing ink. So I've inked up my stamp with some embossing ink, and now I'm going to add some embossing powder in white over the stamped image. And now I'll just take my heat tool and melt that. And now I've just got this really great image to color with my colored pencils. Now I didn't want to color the whole image. I just wanted to add some pops of color on the florals. So what you'll see me doing is I'm actually going to die cut this piece out, and then I'm also going to stamp and heat emboss the little florals and foliage that are parts of the stamp set as well. And I'm going to adhere these onto that world stamp so that it just adds a little bit of pop of color in that way. And these are just my Prismacolors, just using them just in a really, really simple and basic way to color up these images. I used light green, parrot green, processed red, and blush pink, as well as yellow chartreuse. And you can just see that what I do is I color the area in with whatever color I want to start with. Typically it might be the lighter color, then blend in some of the shade color, and then blend that out with the lighter color again. There's a few different ways that you can do this, but one of the biggest tips I would say is keep your pencil tip away from the embossing, because the pencil will actually chip away the embossing line. So you just have to be careful with that. Now I'm going over all of the colored pencil areas with my Wink of Stella, and I love how this is just going to add some really pretty sparkle and shine. And then you'll just see how I'm going to add these onto my world stamp. Now I just wanted to, or my world stamped image, I should say. I just wanted to mention that SCT has so generously offered a $100 gift certificate and a 10% discount to for this hop. And so make sure that you leave a comment on all of the hop videos to be entered for that $100 gift certificate. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the winners will be chosen after July 22nd, 2022. So make sure that you watch all of the videos and leave all of your comments by that date. And I love that SCT is also offering that 10% discount. Make sure that you check out their shop on their website. They have really great kits and all kinds of really cool products that you can purchase over there at Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. And I just love that they also have their own original stamps and die sets that you can purchase. They have lots of really fun classes that they offer that you can purchase and take online as well. So lots of great things from Scrapbook and Cards. This is actually a piece that I die cut from a pigment die called Whimsy Frames, and I'll get to the Pigment Craft Co later in the video, but I wanted to use one of their dies for this project. So I did create my card front with that die, and now you can just see I'm adding some foam adhesive to the back of this die cut piece here. I'm going to add to the front of my card, kind of at the top of that die cut frame that I added behind these pieces here. So I've popped that up, and I also stamped out the sentiment and heat embossed "Small gestures can change the world," which is, I love the sentiments that are in this Change the World set. They're so beautiful and meaningful. I love that. There's been a lot of thought that was put into the sentiments in this set. So I'm just going to adhere that to the bottom, and I'm going to finish off my card with a few little gems that I'm going to add to the centers of the little floral pieces here. And I just love how this card turns out when it's all finished up. So please make sure that you check out Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine's website. They have so much to offer, and they are an amazing Canadian company, and I'm so proud and honored to be working with their product today. And I love Catherine and Jen and the crew over at Scrapbook and Cards Today. They're just amazing, 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 and I love that they're Canadian. So happy Canada Day to you from Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine and all of the fun stuff that they are giving away. I absolutely love it. So I hope you enjoyed this portion. On to your next stamp. The next product I'm going to be working with is from Your Next Stamp, and this is just another amazing Canadian company. I love the whimsical stamp sets and all of the really fun dies and all of the products that Your Next Stamp carries in their shop, so make sure you check it out. This one is called Beep Beep. It is just absolutely adorable. You can see that fun little car, the little trailer, and all the little fun things that you can pop into those little bits. The stamp set also has a coordinating die, and I love that as well. This set here is called All Aboard, which has a little train theme. You can actually use this in coordination with the Beep Beep set. Really super fun, really great sentiments, so many adorable little images that coordinate so well with this set. And of course, there is a coordinating die set as well with this. And I'm going to be using the Beep Beep set here to start. And I've got a bunch of the stamps in my MISTI here. I'm going to stamp those out with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring here for you today, or just some alcohol marker coloring. I'm going to use a few Spectrum Noir markers as well as my Copics. I'm going to put a little bit of music on for you while I do my coloring, and I'll catch you back after. just loved coloring up those images with my markers. So sweet and fun to create some really fun little elements for my card today. And of course, like I mentioned, this set does have a coordinating die set, and I love the dies from Your Next Stamp. They are so easy to line up. That's one of the things that I noticed right away when I was working with these coordinating dies. And so I'm just going to take a few seconds here to use my Easy C tape to tape the dies onto the images, and then I'm going to go ahead and die cut out all of these sweet little images for my project. Now, I wanted to mention that Your Next Stamp is offering a $50 gift certificate as well as 25% off during the hop. So make sure you check out the Your Next Stamp shop, and don't forget to comment on all of the videos by July 22nd to be entered for that gift certificate. Now, I have gone ahead and I have die cut out a stitched card front panel for my card here, and I'm going to use a cloud stencil from my stash just to create a little bit of cloudy sky. And this is some Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink. I'm just going to blend this on with my blending brush here and create just that little bit of white puffy cloud and sky for my little scene that I'm going to be creating. I also used a wavy die to create a little bit of a hilly road, and that's going to house the sweet little car and little trailer or wagon that's behind the car. So I'm just going to adhere that onto my card front here. And I will then go ahead and add the sweet little car and the little trailer and so on to my project. I think I'm going to pop these pieces up on some foam adhesive. I think I'm just trying to decide at this point what adhesive I want to use and the placement of my little car and wagon. So I'm going to just go ahead and pop those up with a little bit of foam adhesive to make them a little bit more dimensional. You can always leave the foam adhesive off of your projects if you want them to be more flat if you're mailing them, but if you're hand delivering them, that little bit of dimension is sometimes kind of fun to add to the project. So you'll just see me continuing to add that little bit of foam adhesive in that way to this sweet little car and trailer or wagon that it's pulling. I love that. And I loved just playing around with the different images and working on this sweet little scene. I think these are so sweet. I love this cute little bunny who's driving the car. There's also a little stamp in the set to have a little puppy driving the car. You can actually arrange these in so many different ways. I have a little froggy in the back seat, and I've got some little gifts in the trailer and a little kitty cat as well. Super fun. And there's so many cool sentiments that go with this set as well. I happen to always need a lot of birthday cards, so I created a couple of birthday cards with these Your Next Stamp sets, and I really love how they turned out when they're all finished. So I'm just going to finish placing these different bits together. I will mention that I will link up to as many of the products that I've used today in the description box below. So if you're looking for any of these different items, make sure that you first of all check out Your Next Stamp, and anything else that I've used that might not be in the shop, you can find in the links below as well. So just check those out. I'm going to pop up the card panel with a little bit of foam adhesive. So I'm just going to take some foam on a roll here that I have in my stash and just cut that into strips and add to the back of my card front. And then I will attempt to get this onto my card base as straight as I possibly can. I guarantee you it won't be perfectly straight. I don't think I've ever gotten a card panel on a card front perfectly straight, but I did put a little bit of liquid adhesive on the foam tape to help me out with that process a little bit, to allow a little bit of wiggle room. This is that really sweet sentiment that I stamped out with some black ink and just cut that into a rectangle here. I'm going to adhere that onto a piece of brown cardstock that matches up with the road that the little car is driving on, and then I'll adhere those pieces together and add that to the top of my card. I'm going to embellish my little critters and some of the other areas on the card with a little bit of Wink of Stella. It just brings out the color of the ink that I used to color the images, and it just makes that little bit of sparkle and shine on the different areas of the card as well. I'll take a little bit of white gel pen and just add some little highlights here and there as well. And I just like that detail on these sweet little whimsical cards. I think it makes a big difference. I like the look, and I enjoy the process of adding those little bits here and there that make my card unique and just a lot of little fun accents. So I'll just take a few minutes to go ahead and add that white gel pen, and then I'm going to just take and add a little bit of glossy accents, for example, to the windshield, to the center of the tires. That just creates a little bit of dimension in that way on the different little areas of my project. And to finish off, I wanted to just use another little stamp from the set that says beep, and I'm going to stamp that out a couple of times to say beep beep at the front of the car, which I just thought was a super cute way to finish off this adorable card. Now this is how the card turned out. You can see that I added some Your Next stamp gumdrops to the top of my card as well. I love the Your Next stamp enamel dots. They are so fun, and I'm just going to show you those now. Now I did also create another card with the All Aboard set. Because I'm working with 3 different companies here, I didn't have time in this video to show you the process for the All Aboard, but I basically did the same things that I did on the Beep Beep set. I just used different stamps, right? So I still have the cloudy sky, I have the little train that's green and blue, and then the little track that the train is on. Super cute, and I love this, and I love Your Next stamp. I hope you were inspired, and I hope that you check out another Canadian wonderful company, Your Next stamp. Now, the next company that I'm going to be showcasing here is another amazing Canadian company called Pigment Craft Co. These are some of their inks that they have. These are premium dye inks. They are amazing inks to work with. And there actually is a whole bunch more ink colors that you can check out in the Pigment Craft Co. website. So make sure you check them out. I love working with their inks. This set that I'm going to be starting off with is called Oh Hi. These stamp and die sets are so unique and different and interesting. I love working with the Pigment Craft Co. products so much. So I'm going to use one of their inks here to stamp out the word hi onto some white cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp out the word O from this darker color of ink. And I think in most of the cases I do show you what color of ink I'm using. So here you can just see the 2 stamped words there, O and hi. These have coordinating dies, which is so fantastic. And you can see how fun this is. The hi die stamps the word out separately with the letters out separately with the 1 die. And then there's also a shadow die as well in the die set that I'll show you in a second, stamps out the shadow. So I'm going to add the die cut word O over top of the base where there's room for that, as well as the H. So this is all attached together here. You can see how I glued the O onto the H. And now you can see how I can add this onto the shadow die, which is so cool. I love that. So I cut the shadow die from white cardstock, and now I'm adding the layering pieces over top. Now I'm also going to be using the Spring Flowers stencil set. This is amazing. This is a set of 5 stencils, and this stencil set is for layering or layer ink blending. I always like to start off with my lightest color of ink and then blend on the next darkest color over top with the details. So you'll just see me switching up the stencils as I go through this process. I'll tape them down and I'll go ahead and add the next darkest color of ink over top to add the details. I love this process. I find it 100% relaxing, and it's so cool how you can create with whatever color palette you choose the most interesting and unique basically patterned paper, and then, you know, cut it down or do whatever you want with it after to create your project. So I had so much fun with this process using, of course, the amazing Pigment Craft Co. inks. They are amazingly fantastic to ink blend with. I had such a blast using them, and you'll just see me here adding the different colors here onto my project. This brush that I'm using here right now was actually, I think, really full of ink, not Pigment Craft Co. ink, but other types of dye ink from other companies, and it really needed to be cleaned. And so I'm not getting a good transfer of the ink. That's why you see me continuously going back into the ink pad. It's not the ink pad, it's my brush. I ended up later changing out my brushes because I was having a little bit of trouble. And once I changed to, I think I changed to some Gina K brushes, then it just was perfect. So these brushes were just not quite as clean as they should have been. Now I'm just taking a waffle flower detail brush here to add the details in the tiny little areas, but you're just going to see how this creates the most beautiful, beautiful pattern for the project for the front of my card front here today. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. And these stencils are amazing. This is the spring flower stencils. And look at that. That's gorgeous. And I still have another stencil here for the details for the little florals. And I really wanted to use a really dark color for this to just add those little accents. So I believe I used rosewood, which is just a beautiful, beautiful color of kind of a rusty orange color. It's beautiful. And I love that the Pigment Craft Co colors are very unique and just stunning, like really modern looking. I just love them. I can't gush enough about their inks. They are beautiful. So I'm using again another detail brush to go into these smaller areas and blend in just a bit of darker ink. Now, Pigment Craft Co. is offering 2 $100 gift certificates and a 20% off discount. So make sure you comment, make sure you check out their site, make sure you shop using that discount code. All of the discount codes are over on Emily's blog, so make sure you check that out. Now, I am going to be using, again, the gorgeous Whimsy Frames set. You saw this earlier on the Scrapbook on Cards Today card that I created. This is such a fun die set of 3 different dies, and it makes the perfect little features for your project. Now, you can see I cut down my stenciled paper to a smaller size to fit perfectly into the center of this card front, and actually I think it ended up being 3 inches by 4 1/4. I have popped that up so that it's dimensional and added that to that Whimsy frame. And now I'm going to take that sentiment that I worked on at the very beginning of this card, and I'm going to add that onto my card front with a little bit of foam adhesive. And I love the sentiment, "Oh hi." It's very versatile. You could add this to a card that's for birthday, or just sending somebody a thinking of you. So many different types of occasions for this project. But I also love the word cutie and this other really sweet sentiment that would be perfect for the inside of the card. So you could say, "Oh hi cutie," and then stamp that sentiment on the inside. There's a lot of ways that you could use the "Oh hi" set. Now I'm on to my next card. This is the Curve Appeal die. I love this die so much. This is so fun and so versatile, and you can see how I've cut and ink blended the middle 3 panels. So I cut this from white cardstock, and then I used the turmeric. I also used the I can't see the color on my screen, but hopefully you could there, and then the Himalayan. So I used those 3 colors to ink blend, and I also used the I'm going to use the X's cover plate. I love this cover plate. I think it's so fun. And I used it on the bottom and top curvy pieces from the Curve Appeal die cut pieces to create that little pattern on those sections. So now what I'm going to do is glue those all together on a piece of A2 size cardstock here, and then I'll just trim this down so that it fits onto the front of my card with a little bit of white margin. So this is just an easy way to put this together. If you want, you could add some dimension to these pieces by adding a little bit of foam adhesive. You could have 1 high, 1 low, 1 high, 1 low kind of thing like that. You could cut this out numerous times to make a slim line. There's so many fun ways that you can use this Curve Appeal set, and I love that X's cover plate too. So now you can see that I've cut this down, and I'm going to add this to my card a little bit later. First, I'm going to be taking the Wish Upon a Dandelion set and create some details for my card. This is a beautiful set, and it has a coordinating die set, of course, and I just love this so much. I had so much fun playing with this. I can't even tell you that this box that Pigment Craft Co sent me was just a blast to play around with. Now, I have stamped out the images that you can see from the Wish Upon a Dandelion set, and I'm going to stamp the layered images onto these other images here. So you can see that this is a layering set. So you start off with the first layer in your lightest color, then you add some details in with the next color, and so on and so forth until you end up with just this really cool image. Once again, using all of the Pigment Craft Co colors, they coordinate beautifully together, and you can just see I'm adding all of these details in with the different colors of ink. So just so much fun. Loved this process so much. And I'm sorry, I'm just the bottom of my Misty's off the camera a little bit here, but I think you can mostly see the details of what I'm doing. But all of these stamps I'm using are in that Wish Upon a Dandelion set, and it is a layering set. So it's fantastic. It's so much fun. Now it also has a coordinating sentiment. I'm stamping out the word hi, but what's so cool is the word lovely layers over top. So you can see that there's kind of like missing areas on the word hi. That's because that's going to get filled in with the word lovely. And I'm using balsam to stamp in the word lovely here. And I love that balsam is just really nice and dark, and it just really stands out from the rosewood color. So I love that. I wanted to give these little pieces a little bit of dimension. So you'll just see me adding to the top portions a little bit of foam adhesive to create that dimension. And then I'll add the sentiment to those areas. And this card is going to be soon finished. I did want to mention that Pigment Craft Co sent me a very large box of product to work with, and I did have some of the inks already, but they sent me a few more, which was really awesome of them, and thank you. I didn't have a chance to work with all of the products, so next week I want you to check out my channel again. I'm going to post another video for this hop because this hop runs for obviously over a week. It runs for 2 weeks. You're going to see another video that's part of this hop next week that's going to have the rest of the Pigment Craft Co product in the video, so watch for that. And thank you so much to Pigment. They are an amazing Canadian company with the most beautiful stamps, dies, inks, just amazing product. And I love how this came together. I just love the look, and that card is almost finished here. So I'm just going to show you it up close. That's all done, I guess. I thought maybe I was going to do something else, but I'm not. That's all finished. And now I'm just going to show you my little cards here that are all done. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Stay tuned at the very end of the video for a slide with all of the list of all of the sponsors. Check out Emily's blog. Go over to her blog post. She lists all of the sponsors, all of the gift certificates, all of the coupon codes, everything is listed there for you. And that link is below, as well as the link to the next person in the hop. So check out all of the videos in this hop. Thanks, friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.